What's up, fight fans? Welcome back to Sportskeeda MMA News. Jake Paul makes Dana White a rather exciting offer with an interesting stipulation. Jon Jones slams Francis Ngannou for defending Adesanya. Chris Pratt responds after Adesanya dismissed his criticism. Tommy Fury out of Jake Paul fight, Uncle Chael knows a guy. Chris Curtis promises a dominant performance as he steps up on short notice. Find out what he said on this episode of Sportskeeda MMA News. From releasing a Dana White diss track to offering innovative revenue models, Jake Paul has pulled no punches in expressing his views on UFC fighter pay. While many may not like him as a person, it's hard to argue against him. Fighters deserve a better base pay and benefits. They're the ones that the fans pay to see, and the ones putting their health on the line, so they deserve to be treated accordingly. In a recent interview with ESPN MMA, the problem child said he's willing to put on the 4-ounce gloves and fight for free against one of the biggest stars in MMA today, but with this stipulation.
Look, I'll be Nate Diaz's last fight in the UFC. I'll throw on the MMA gloves and fight him for free as long as Dana White increases the minimum fighter pay to $50K and gives them healthcare benefits. And that was my deal. I think the Nate Diaz fight should happen.
Nate Diaz only has one fight left on his contract and has been trying his hardest to get done with it. In fact, Diaz is willing to fight anyone just so he can be done with the UFC altogether. Unlike Diaz, Paul has a fight lined up after the Tommy Fury boxing match fell through yet again. The social media star will take on Hasim Rahman Jr., who holds a 12-1 record, on August 6th. Anyone game for Jake Paul versus Nate Diaz on a UFC pay-per-view? Tell us in the comments. You know who might be Adesanya's biggest hater? No, not Chris Pratt, but we'll talk about that later. If you said Jon Jones, you'd be correct. After the lackluster UFC 276 unanimous decision win over Jared Cannonier, Adesanya referenced the animated movie Frozen to call out former kickboxing rival Alex Pereira. Adesanya said he'd leave the Brazilian frozen like Elsa. The last stylebender has not forgotten about his knockout loss to Pereira and the course of the fight before the KO. Jon Jones recently referenced the Disney movie as he tweeted to throw shade at both Francis Ngannou and the middleweight king. Jones said, "Look at Francis over there defending Elsa, how cute. I could take off 2 more years and you guys work combined won't match what I've done in that octagon. #facts. Jones followed this up with some harsh criticism to both of the champions. "I'm really not impressed with you or your boy. I've seen you quit multiple times and your boy almost got flatlined the last time he faced Alex. Both of you guys win your next fight, then I'll be impressed. Until then, keep the name out of your mouth. There's levels." Adesanya, of course, cares deeply about what Jones has to say. Kidding. When asked about the former light heavyweight champion, Izzy said,
Jon Jones. Joe, I don't want to hear about that. He's just jealous and insecure as a boy. He's a Come on, I don't really give a what he thinks.
Who else cannot wait to see Jon Jones against either Israel Adesanya or Francis Ngannou? Tell us in the comments which one you'd rather see. Chris Pratt's Star-Lord may have fumbled the plot trying to capture Thanos in Infinity War, but the actor himself seemed to have landed himself in a bit of a mess with his recent criticism of Israel Adesanya. Yes, we get it, the fight against Cannonier was boring, but come on. Taking to the UFC broadcast booth and publicly shaming Stylebender may have been a touch too far. Of course, Izzy heard these comments and responded on Twitter. His tweet included a clip of Pratt taking a keyboard across the face like Costa took Adesanya's shin, and it was captioned with, "Good morning, I'm the man, you're just some fan." Adesanya took aim at the many fans who shared their disdain for this bout and said,
"Does that affect you at all?"
They've been here since 3 p.m. They're all drunk. They don't know what real fighting is. I've said this, look, the greats, they all get to this point. GSP, people would just boo them. I'm like, what the are you guys watching? You dumb Ali, Floyd Mayweather, same thing. You get to this point where it's like, you're so great, people just want to see you fall. You know? They just want to see you fall, no matter what. And if it's not like a show out spectacular performance, then it's like, he's not even that good.
These words, along with Adesanya's tweet, might have hit home with Pratt. Actors put themselves out there for the world to judge and often end up on the receiving end of some unflattering judgment by those who know nothing about the work. The temperamental Chris Pratt, responded to Izzy via Twitter. You're right, I'm sorry brother, it bugs me when people criticize my work having never themselves risked anything. It makes me a hypocrite to do exactly that to you. My bad, keep on keeping on, champ. Should Chris Pratt have stood his ground, or was he right to apologize? Tell us in the comments. You know the drill, Uncle Chael speaks, we listen. The bad guy has decided to bless us with some insight on how to fix the falling out of Tommy Fury, who was supposed to once again box Jake Paul. Chael Sonnen has a certain UFC legend in mind who can step in and mix it up with the prolific entertainer. But who is it? The answer, Chael Sonnen himself. Kidding, it's former welterweight champion Robbie Lawler. We're unsure if Sonnen is unaware of Hasim Rahman Jr. or if he's just trying to push his idea on the issue, but we're here for it regardless. Sonnen took to his YouTube channel and elaborated on his idea, which actually sounds like a lot of fun.
Robbie Lawler's the perfect opponent, even in defeat over the weekend. In fact, his fight over the weekend probably shows us why he's so perfect. We know Robbie's still sharp. This isn't going to be a disappointing night where somebody gets clipped and somebody goes down. Robbie Lawler would have the ability and the relationship to go to Dana White and get that fight done. That's why he's the perfect replacement.
Sonnen and Paul appear to disagree as to why Fury can't make it. Sonnen believes that the Paul fight is what dreams are made of for Tommy, but the problem child believes that Fury has, after further consideration, run scared. Robbie Lawler has a spot waiting for him in the UFC's Hall of Fame, and while he's still competing, it's perhaps time to call it a career in MMA and lace up the bigger gloves and fight Jake Paul for a huge payday. How would Lawler versus Paul in a boxing match go down? As the record scratches and Sweet Caroline stops playing, it's with a heavy heart that we inform you that Darren Till will not be competing at the next UFC London event. As the MMA community is collectively bummed out, the UFC was still firing on all cylinders to find a replacement. And a replacement they found. Enter Chris Curtis, undefeated in 3 UFC fights, having finished 2 of them, and one of the people nutty enough to frequently train with Sean Strickland. This bravery parlayed well into an abrupt opening against Jack Hermansson at the end of the month. As the spotlight moves from Till to Curtis, he elaborates on why he's willing to take on such a risky fight. Who dares wins. See you all in London. This tweet was accompanied by a photograph of Superman driving his hand through the Joker's chest. Hermansson, whose nickname is the Joker, may want to tell his opponent to relax. It's just a fight. Hermansson deserves some praise here too. He's no stranger to a short notice fight himself. Also worth noting, Jack's last fight was a decision loss at the hands of Curtis's teammate, the aforementioned Sean Strickland. Think Chris Curtis can take this opportunity and make the most of it? That about does it for Sportskeeda MMA news. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already and follow us on your favorite social media platforms. We're on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and Snapchat. Until next time, here are some of the comments from previous videos. Eugene Behrman gotta be the most annoying figure from New Zealand. All his takes are complete garbage. If you liked this video, please like, comment, and share. Your comments could be featured in the next Sportskeeda MMA news video. We always deliver daily content, so make sure you subscribe and hit that bell so you don't miss anything going on in the MMA world. For updates, quotes, and exclusive interviews with your favorite fighters, follow Sportskeeda MMA on Twitter and Instagram. Thanks for tuning in.